Hi everyone, my name is Zac Zinger, and this is Not a Recorder. Today I wanted to go over the most fundamental aspect of shakuhachi playing, how to hold it. Now this may seem basic, but even for advanced players, sometimes bad habits can creep in and cause our breathing, our tone, and our technical facility to suffer. At worst, repetitive stress injuries can occur to our hands and neck, so it's worth going over how to properly hold the shakuhachi. Now, before you even pick up the shakuhachi, you need to make sure your body is in alignment. So let's build that foundation from the bottom up. Start by standing with your feet shoulder width apart and letting all your joints relax. Slightly bend your knees. Do not let your knees lock. Next, bring your hips forward to rest vertically above your knees. Slowly arch your back, imagining each vertebrae being straightened as you roll up your spine and neck. Make sure your neck is straight, aligned with your spine, but not so far back that it's doing anything to block your breathing. Finally, bring your shoulders up to your ears and slowly roll them back, opening your chest and not allowing your shoulders to slump. A seated position requires some slight variations. Sitting in an armless chair, move to sit on the edge of the seat. Set your feet shoulder width apart, with your feet flat on the ground and directly below your knees. Then, relax all your muscles like we did for the standing exercise, letting your hands drop to the side. Arch your back slowly as before, and bring your shoulders up to your ears, rolling them back and holding them there. Now we're ready to hold the shakuhachi. Today I'll be showing you how to hold a 1.8 standard size shakuhachi. Larger flutes will require some adjustment, but you should be starting on a 1.8. The standard way to hold a shakuhachi is with the right hand on the bottom and the left hand on top, although it is acceptable to switch hands. However, you'll find on larger flutes, often the holes are offset so that it's only possible to be played with the right hand on the bottom. So if you're just starting out, it's advisable that you play that way. Place your right middle finger directly between the bottom two holes of the shakuhachi, letting your index and ring fingers hover over the holes. Then place your thumb on the other side, roughly underneath the second hole from the bottom. This is to be half your anchor. You should be able to balance the shakuhachi with the right hand without much effort. Too low and the weight will cause it to tilt. Too high and you won't have a stable hold. Experiment to find exactly the best place for your own hands and instrument. Next, place the blowing edge directly between your lips, holding the shakuhachi parallel to the ground with your right hand. Then slowly lower the bottom half of the instrument to about a 50-degree angle with the ground. Your bottom lip should actually be somewhat inside the instrument. The shakuhachi should be comfortably resting on your chin at this angle. Be careful not to be pressing it into your face. This is the other half of your anchor. No other fingers should be troubled with holding the shakuhachi. Their only concern is to operate the holes. With your left hand, place your middle finger between the top two holes on the front side of the instrument, letting your index and ring fingers hover over the holes. With your thumb, find the hole on the back, then let it also hover over the hole there. You are now in position to play the shakuhachi. As you play, your focus will begin to wander from holding the instrument, so it's important that you ingrain your posture and holding technique from the start. But there's a lot to think about while you're playing, so here are 8 common traps that beginners and advanced players alike tend to fall into that you should try to avoid. To avoid developing conditions such as carpal tunnel and tendonitis, do not scrunch up your wrists and allow your fingers to bend naturally. You should be especially careful to avoid this if your hands are on the smaller side. Your hands and wrists should always be in as natural and relaxed a position as possible. When I first started playing, I would squeeze the shakuhachi so hard that my hands would go numb and I'd get indentations on my fingers that would last for minutes. Don't be like me! If you have a solid anchor in place with your right thumb and middle finger and resting on your chin, there's no reason to squeeze at all. Your other fingers should be allowed to move freely, not helping to hold the instrument. On a 5-hole shakuhachi, there is never any reason to lift your middle fingers. They help to keep the other fingers in place so you don't get lost and miss the holes. Don't let them wander, keep them down. If you have your playing fingers too high above the holes, you may miss the target when the time comes. Keep the fingers that cover the holes hovering above the holes just high enough that they won't affect the tuning. Your pinky fingers don't have anything to do, so they might start to drift down and underneath the instrument to help support it. This will only cause you hand pain and reduce the technical facility of your ring fingers. Let your pinky fingers float freely and naturally. You should have all the support you need from your anchors. Be careful not to let your elbows flare out, or to have them fold in and rest on your torso. This will negatively affect your breathing, and also looks pretty silly. Your arms should rest naturally at the side. Sticking your neck out will strain your neck muscles and upset your breathing. Bring the shakuhachi to your lips, not your lips to the shakuhachi. Remember, the shakuhachi isn't playing you, you're playing the shakuhachi. With all these things to think about, it's easy to forget about the posture foundation we built in the beginning. It's okay if you find yourself slumping, but when you notice it, stop and rebuild your posture from the beginning. So that's it. We haven't even played a note yet, and there's already so much to think about. Practicing in front of a mirror is a great way to analyze your posture and hold, so I'd recommend doing that from time to time to make sure you're giving yourself the best chance to make a good sound. More lessons and shakuhachi talk to come, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.